Tim with Perkins Roofing on this incredibly windy day. You can see got tropical storm coming in. Patty, tropical storm Patty. She's mad. But it's also election day, by the way. But you can see beautiful Port Miami and Fisher Island behind me as we are on our phase 1 of our project here in Key Biscayne, our re-roof project. We have a lot of things kind of pending right now. The building needs some money so that they can continue to pay us to do some work. So let's walk through some of this. You can see phase 1 is looking pretty good right now. We'll walk through the rest of the job as we have going and show you some of the details of what's going on in this project, because it has been a while since I've provided an update on this one. So you can see behind me, the new railings were installed. I'm gonna walk through some of this stuff though, because unfortunately there are some issues with the railings. And this is like the one item that we're not doing on this entire project, which is silly to me, but hey, check this out. This is why, and sorry for the wind, it's just crazy up here today. Got that tropical storm rolling in. But this is why you want one contractor doing everything. We gave the building a price for us to install these railings. Our railings are actually much higher quality. They were custom. This was $6,000 cheaper, but they did way more than $6,000 of damage when they put these things on. It's open. They cut through our membrane here in the roof. This is all wide open right now for water to come in. This is why cheaper is not always better. You usually get what you pay for in construction. To leave things like this when you do a job. Disgusting. You'll also notice that painting has been completed. You might remember from last time, this was all just regular concrete color. The painting had not been completed yet. So you can see the painting on the walls. There are still areas on the walls that have been jacked up by the railings. So some of those areas need to be repainted, but besides that, you can see the painting. Nice, bright, white, modern. So you can see that the bad concrete was removed, and now the only thing holding these cooling towers in place are these shoring posts, and it's super windy. So this is holding these things in place, and then they're strapped in. This is what the engineer had us do for now, as we're waiting for the building to approve this work so we can continue this work. It's just sitting here because building politics. This is what you run into on condo buildings. You have to deal with political machinations of each individual homeowners association. They're all different. And sometimes you'll have elections in the middle of projects that will completely change what the building wants to do from one thing to another. So association work, when you're working on condo associations, is completely different than any other type of work, residential or commercial, when it comes to roofing or any type of construction like our Perkins construction guys that we have over there. Now over on this side, you can see that we have our SAV Plus right here. All of this is layered in, except for right here where we have this drop off. This is the only section that we're missing here, because this is where all our crap is. And basically there's no point to do this until we get all this crap and all that crap off the roof. So this is our landing area. So we're saving our little landing area here for last. before we seal this in with the new roof. So you can see right here is just vapor barrier, and then all up here is our new roof, and you can see the height difference. I showed this in another video too, but look at this height difference here. How crazy this height difference is. We measured it before. I think it's like 10 inches or something like that, height difference. Luckily, you see, we do have a little bit of water here on the vapor barrier, but not a lot. There has been no water coming in during any of this because of the vapor barrier. The vapor barrier is great. There's going to be a giant stairwell. You said there was an old one here. We had to cut that out. We have a new one that's going in here. Again, we're waiting for payment in order to put the new one in. So again, for projects to continue, money must come. So we need money to put the stair in from the building here, the new stair. But kind of everything has been in limbo on this job for a little bit, as the building has had to do some special assessments to get the money in. You can see obviously there's a door here with no landing. And you might remember in the last video, we came up this way and the stairs were still there. So you can see how where they were moved on the wall, you see the blocks right here, the concrete blocks. So that needs to be re-stuccoed still. But here you can see pretty good our roofing system, our SAV. We'll get that Polyfresko layer down soon. And then over here is just where our vapor barrier is still, because that's our landing platform for the hydraulic hoist here to move everything up and down off of the roof. So we're doing that section last. And this bad boy is a trash chute vent. It's going to be replaced with stainless steel. You see that's rusted. So this is one of the things you have to always look for on salt water. Why are you installing a galvanized steel vent when you're oceanfront? I don't get it either. You can see this side has not been painted yet. This is the old color here. We will be painting this side once the roof is done. There's no point to paint before the roof because the roof is going to get all this stuff dirty. Roofing is a very messy job. Painting is like the last thing you want to do. That's your clean up, touch up type stuff. So the paint, like on phase 1, will be matching this side as soon as the roof is done. So you can see phase 1 is basically in completion mode, except for some punch out items thanks to our railing friends that need to be attended to. Phase 2 over here is stuck because we're waiting for things like the stairwell to be installed into this roof before we put our cap sheet down. There's no point to bring up a giant set of stairs off on our lift here. We have to, by the way, the stairs is so big that we had to cut it into sections just to bring it up, and then we have to put it and then reassemble it on the roof. And we don't want to be doing all that on the final cap sheet. We're going to do that on the interply. And actually we're going to do it over here in this area. We're going to build it here and then move it over. That thing weighs over 2,000 pounds when it's fully assembled. So hence why that thing has to be cut up and do it in stages, because our maximum weight on our lift here is 2,000 pounds. And I think that it weighs like 2,400 pounds. So that's why we have to cut up the stairs into sections. But you can see our stucco all still finished here. Concrete all finished. We're just waiting for the roof to be done here before we paint on this side. And again, our vapor barrier area. You can see this giant drop off here. And that's what's going on the project. So you can see up there, we're installing a wood nailer, and then there's going to be on the end of the wood nailer a furring strip so that we get spacing between our metal on the cap of the wall and the wall itself, because when you put the metal flush to the wall, that's going to allow the water still to hit the wall and it's going to crack out some of that stucco. So today you'll see a couple of our concrete guys here doing some painting and some concrete repairs on the Perkins construction side. But on the roofing side, we don't have any of our guys here because of this weather. You cannot install roofing while it's raining. You don't want to open up the roof, because to install roofing properly, you're opening up the old sections of the roof. Even with the vapor barrier, you're covering over it. So you're going to have 2 layers. But you don't want to be working with insulation or opening the roof while it's raining. And this is also an adhered product. For this to properly cure when you adhere it, you need it to be dry. So even like this little moisture here on the ground, This is something that we have to suck up, or we have to dry off, let the sun dry it, or we can use wet vacs and suck it up, or we can brush it off the roof with brooms. You cannot have moisture on the roof when you're roofing. So when you're roofing, it has to be great weather. You cannot have days like this where it rains for 15 minutes and then it's dry for 45 minutes and then rains for 15 minutes on and off. You have to make sure that you have a perfectly dry day for roofing. Now on the construction end, we can do concrete and we can do concrete repairs with quick dry stuff, because some of that stuff will cure in like 20 minutes. This roofing takes thermal cycles to cure. So this is a Polyglass self-adhered SAV plus water barrier. This is their heaviest duty interply that's self-adhered. And for this thing to cure, you need 3 full thermal cycles. So you need 3 full days for this to fully cure of no water coming in through the membrane. That's how this thing fully cures. You can speed up that process by using a Leister, which is like a heat welder, looks like a hair dryer. You can speed up the process a little bit by using a Leister. But generally, if you're gonna self-adhere and just do peel and stick method and not speed it up with your own heat, then that's what's gonna happen, is that it's gonna take 3 full days for this product to cure. And roof cement bowl, there's different types. On this project, we're using PP50, which is a moisture curing roof cement. Roof cements usually take about 30 days to fully cure, any roof cement. So anytime you're using bowl or roof cement or whatever, even the Home Depot stuff, yes, it takes 30 days to cure. But PP50, higher, more expensive product, but better, is a moisture curing product. So when it rains on it, it's not gonna mess it up. It's gonna cure with the moisture. Now, if you use a regular bowl, like some crap from Home Depot, that stuff is not moisture curing. So when moisture gets into it, it will not cure properly and it will stay kind of like mushy. Way too windy to operate the hoist today. But again, this is why we put the hoist here, is because this is going to provide a wind tunnel for the hoist, so that when you do get wind, you don't have stuff blowing all over the place, but it's going to come straight up here. Obviously, they're going to have to paint these walls. That's a must. Thanks for watching. I know it's just a quick little update video on the building here in Brickell. It's nothing special. You're seeing various stages of the work, and you can see what other contractors, when they work next to you, can do to damage your work product, which is why I do not like working adjacent to other contractors, especially ones I've never worked with before, or ones that I don't know. It's because you don't know what they're going to do to damage your stuff, and then they point fingers. It's very obvious in this scenario what happened in this situation, so thankfully. But you can see fun stormy day. It's been raining on and off here today, and hopefully you enjoy the video, enjoy this video, enjoy all my videos. And if you need Perkins roofing, if you need roofing, if you need construction, if you need Perkins construction, we do windows, we do doors, painting, stucco, concrete restoration, framing, siding, anything exterior renovation. Call Perkins Construction. Same number as Perkins Roofing. And we have Perkins Roofing Miami, Perkins Roofing Jupiter. Perkins Construction works in both locations. Jupiter branch covers Palm Beach. Miami branch covers Miami-Dade, Broward, the Keys. And we also have our franchising company, Perkins Franchising. So if you're interested in your own Perkins roofing business, you're gonna make some money. There's a lot of good money right now in construction. Construction companies are going for very high valuations right now, so it's a good way to build money and to really bring wealth into your family, and then also to learn something that's pretty cool. Like construction, in my opinion, is super cool. When you know construction and you have really good people who work with you and work for you, then it makes things a lot easier even on your own home to update your own home. Or if you need to, you could be that guy for all your friends, the construction guy that everybody calls. So construction is a really great industry. I highly recommend it. And thank you all for watching this video. For Miami, we have 305 MIA roof. And then for Jupiter, St. Lucie, Martin counties, it is 561 559 roof. what's up? What's kicking? It's Tim Kanak with Perkins Roofing. You can see the fabulous city of Miami behind me as we are doing an update video for this project. You're probably like, update for this project, what? I saw your first couple videos for this project. I think there's 4 or 5 at this point in time. But I saw that like 6 months ago. You're still there? Yes, because of the construction phase of the project. So I'm gonna walk you through what Perkins Construction has been doing here in the meantime as Perkins Roofing has now returned to the job. So, first thing first, you can see behind me, we have a walk pad that we put down. So we have 2 walk pads actually that we put down on top of our Polyfresko roof, which you can see is still beautiful white. And again, this is 90% reflective, 96 SRI versus TPO, which is a 93 SRI. So this is actually more reflective than TPO. But since this roof is now completed on phase 2, which I don't know if you've seen the full completion of phase 2 since my last video, but since this roof is now completed on phase 2 of this project, and I'll show the phases again on a map over my face so you can see the different phases, phase 1, 2, 3 of this roofing project and concrete restoration project. We have our hoist right here. We still need to access this hoist to get to phase 3, which is in the middle. We were not able to do 1, 2, 3 consecutively. We have to do the middle section last because of the cooling towers. So we put these walk pads down, and you can see we have a regular cap sheet walk pad here, which is what Polyglass wants for your walk pads on top of your roof. It's gray so that all the technicians know, hey, walk here, don't walk here, walk here. This is what the gray means. This is your runway for work. And then we added these additional thick walk pads here for people to walk on because we have the hoist here. This hoist is running very, very heavy stuff up and down the entire building. In the other videos, you've seen the hoist in operation. You can see my project manager, Aramis, getting all hooked up there, getting ready. You've seen him in some other videos of my other YouTube videos already, driving high reaches and stuff like that. But he's getting ready to operate the hoist right now. But this runway here is for concrete and roofing materials to move up and down via the hoist, and we are not going to damage the roof. Hence these additional walk pads here. So you can see on phase 2, our completed beautiful white roof. Phase 2 has been completed for a number of months now. Phase 1 was completed months and months ago during one of my first videos. So phase 1 has probably been completed for, I don't know, 8 months, maybe 9 months, close to a year. Phase 2 has been completed for probably 5 or 6 months, but we've been stuck on the concrete restoration phase of the project. So you can see as I'm walking around phase 2 that all of the walls have now been painted. So all the concrete restoration on phase 1 and 2 were completed. Painting also completed. The new railings were installed. The scuppers are all completed. So you can see how nice and pretty everything is looking. You can see we did not do the railings, another contractor did, but they're finally completed here on the roof to get the parapet height to code, because obviously I talked about in one of the other videos that the parapet shrank since we added tapered insulation to the roof and increased the minimum height of the roof and the maximum height of the roof, because the old roof was a gravel roof that had no slope on it. And you can see it rained and there's like no water on this roof. So we have really great pitch that we've achieved on this roof with our tapered insulation plan. There's a little bit of water around the drain right here, and that's it after a nice rain. So that's pretty good. Now, coming over here, you can see we're kicking on the hoist machine. I'm gonna get away from that because I know it's gonna be loud. You're not gonna be able to hear anything I'm saying. You can see our completed roofs in these little rooms that are part of the system here. Our polyflash details all completed around the pipes. You see how hard this is? So liquid flashing around the pipes rather than pitch pans or chem curves. The liquid flashing is significantly better because you're sealing completely around the penetration. On our polyflash, you can see all of our targets for polyflash 1C on all these penetrations all the way through. You can also see that probably since the last time we were here, since the last time I showed you a video, we have our new stairwell here installed. to get you over the pipes. And we also have this, which we brought up in the hoist. This giant stainless steel staircase right here. We brought this up in the hoist in sections and had to solder it on the roof under Perkins construction to get this new staircase. There were a bunch of wall repairs that we've also done on this building. You can see the fresh paint on the walls as the hoist is operating. I'm gonna go up there and take a look at that real quick. And this is all going down in the hoist. So you can kind of see the assembly line here with Heavy Marco. This all comes right down the runway to the hoist. All this debris. Gets put in our nice canvas sack here, and that's going to lower it all the way down to the dump trailer at the bottom. We are inside phase 3 right now, where we have the cooling towers. You probably remember from my other videos, we had to do a lot of concrete restoration on these platforms that hold the cooling towers in place. Now, we just restarted the roof on phase 3 yesterday, and last night around 4 p.m. this thing just started leaking like a sieve and blasted water all over the place, right where we just ripped open the old roof and started covering the new one. Luckily, on this project, we have an agreement with them because this roof was really, really old, probably closer to like 40 years. As you probably remember from my first video, that thing would shoot hot water out at you when you walked on it because there's so much water embedded into the old roofing system, which is why it's important to not wait forever and ever and ever for your roof to just soak in and turn into a sponge before you do the roof. And all the penthouse units had water damage, like all on the perimeters, basically into all the penthouse units, they all had water damage on the windows and stuff like that, up top. So you can see that this thing is leaking behind me. The water dripping down right here. We have buckets right here, but you can see the water leaking right here. This is not good because we're trying to re-roof this area. So we need now the building management to shut the cooling tower off so that we can work. Because you can see yesterday what we did is doing the hard parts first. We ripped off the old roof here in this section under this cooling tower. And now, since this is lower, because this is our vapor barrier, we have not put insulation back yet, but since this is lower, you can see the water sitting in this area as it's migrating. You see the pool of water here as it's dripping over here. It's migrating because the downward slope here onto our brand new vapor barrier. So, what's a vapor barrier? The point of a vapor barrier, and I think I showed this in another video, but just to be safe and repeat myself, the point of the vapor barrier is to keep the roof dry during the demo process so that there are no leaks during the re-roof. On a roof like this where we have a lot of square footage and there's a lot of moving parts and penetrations and stuff like that, it's very important. So this vapor barrier here is not actually part of the roofing system. It's just going to be covered over with the tapered insulation. As you can see, it's lower than this old roof, which only has a flat insulation barrier and nothing else. So this is a temporary waterproofing that the insulation is then going to sit on, and then our roofing system, which is in our permit and in our NOA, is going to be applied atop the insulation atop this vapor barrier. So this is the vapor barrier holding the water. This is the area that we demoed yesterday. You can see where we had to take out around the pillars here, the columns, and you can see how this is all done. Fresh new concrete by Perkins construction, where before this was all spalling and falling apart. So we have all these pillars now reconstructed, and the engineer has approved of the concrete on this, as the guys are now ripping out this area over here. This is going to get vapor barrier today. So you can see where they're working behind me. This is the area that they're going to rip out today and seal in with the vapor barrier like they did under the cooling tower here yesterday. And you can see as I'm going under all this brand new concrete. As before, we had exposed rebar and it was crumbling down, spalling down. So all this concrete has been reformed, is all new. And that's what has taken this project so long, is all this concrete work. Basically, we could not work here in this area because we had to put up scaffolding, right? We had shoring posts, sorry. So we had shoring posts formed all under all this platform, basically, to hold this crap up while we were reforming and repairing the concrete so that these cooling towers didn't just tumble down. So all that scaffolding, we could not work with the scaffolding. I keep saying scaffolding. We could not work with the shoring posts in place. So we had to remove the shoring posts in order to continue the roofing side of the project. So that's kind of what happened between now and then, and where we're at on this project. And in the meantime, what's going to happen on this section, phase 3, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully 2 weeks, we will have all of this demoed. We did this whole area in one day. Under this is not easy to work on and move things out. We should be able to do more square footage than that. I would say that the vapor barrier and the demo will be complete within 4 or 5 days. After that, we're going to install our tapered insulation and our new Polyfresko system on top of it, and then our flashings, and we should be done with this bad boy within a couple weeks here. And at that point in time, concrete restoration here is completed. So that's the remaining phase of the project, basically, is just to get the roof done now that the concrete work is done. And then what we're gonna have to do is that the GC side, Perkins Construction, is gonna have to come back and paint the interior walls. You can see the exterior walls have all been painted nice, bright white all over phase 1 and phase 3, or phase 2. But phase 3 has this like old ugly yellow color and cracks and stuff like that on the interior walls. So we still have to come back and repaint the center walls once the roof is done. You don't paint before the roof, you paint after the roof, because roofing is dirty. It's gonna get roof cement and dirt and debris and all kinds of crap all over the wall, so that's why you wait until you do that last. So you can see here these marks, these concrete repairs that we've done on these interior walls. That's going to be the last part, is painting the inside here after phase 3. So we're at the building, we're on the penthouse floor now going up. You can see the plastic run all the way down the hallway on both sides. And then we have cardboard all by the elevators. This is the stuff you have to do when you're working in these condos, and the elevators never go directly to the roof. You have to remember, you have to then go into a stairwell like this. Got our rhino board down and the stairs. Stairs protected just to get up. Our new door that Perkins Construction had to install with this step, because the step here, the way that you had to step all the way up into the roof was not ADA compliant or whatever for updated code. So we had to build this step here so that you can go, oh look, I can get up here now. So we had to build that thing into the project as well. Perkins Construction, and doors locked, so gotta get the key. So here we are, able to get out of the door now. One of the things that we had to do to close out the permit on the construction side is the exit sign. So you can see the exit signs here. We had to put the exit signs up. Even though you're on the roof and there's only 2 doors on the roof, it's fairly obvious that we want to exit this way, not over the railing, but they still make you put the friggin' exit signs. It's just building code stuff for you. And this is one of the things that you run into when you're bidding a project too, is that you find out later, oh, you know, the city is going to require this exit door sign on a roof door where there's only 2 doors to get off the roof. So, you know, whatever. You just run into stuff like this on projects, weird oddities that end up being added to the project because of inspector requests. Ta-da! Alrighty, so we're here on the very east side of the building right now. You can see there's actually rain over there. That's one of the cool things about Florida and being up on the roof is you can actually see the rain. So here's a fun view for you all. But we got the clouds over here. And climb this wall. And then there's Fisher Island behind me. And you can see here's rain coming out of cloud because we're 30 whatever stories up. So just kind of a cool view of the rain if you're not from Florida and you never really see it. You're never high up. But here, you see if you want to jump 30 stories in the water what you're looking at. But I'm in a goofy mood today, I guess. It's because we're closing out this building finally and we've been here forever. Not at anything that we can do about it. But for inspector reasons and money reasons at the building because they had to do so many special assessments. But I'm on the east side of the project. This is the phase 1 area. You can see we actually fixed around the railings. We resealed around the railings. Some of the things we did on the construction side is these eyebrows here. This is what you call an eyebrow. This is like the top of a balcony. So this is basically like a concrete slab that juts out from the building structure to protect the balcony so that the balcony below, the unit below, the penthouse, so that they have a roof over them so that they're not in the sun all the time. So this is what we call an eyebrow. And we did coatings, we did waterproofings on these eyebrows for the entire building around. So I'll show you a few more of those. In some of the other videos, we showed you how we did these scuppers and how we sealed the scuppers. We already have talked about the railings and the penetrations of the railings into the wall. All of the walls have been rebuilt, new stucco, new concrete, new rebar in many cases, and repainted. So you can see it's all white now. When we first got here, this building was like a nasty 90s yellow color. All the mechanical stuff. You see there's a ton of mechanical stuff on this roof. Also, everything has been done in stainless steel. So you see here, stainless steel flashings. All stainless steel around. Stainless steel flashings. And all new white paint all over the place. But you can see the mechanical stuff. A lot of these fans are new. See, this one's like pumping right now. But a lot of the fans are new. See behind me another eyebrow here. Dead animal, dead bird on the roof. Wonderful. But we got here white paint. All of our plumbing pipes here for the building. So all the plumbing pipes, all the electrical, all the ACs are all routed up through the roof. So you can see how everything is just jutting out of the roof. There's a ton of crap on this roof here. You see all these pipes. This is all for the cooling, for the AC towers. We have electrical wiring all coming through. So there's a ton of stuff on the roofs at this building structure. Electrical running through here. Electrical running above our counter flashing metal. So this is why you hire Perkins Roofing and Perkins Construction, because if you hire a roofer who does not have GC capabilities, then they're only going to be able to put the beautiful Polyfresko roof on, the Polyglass Polyfresko roof. So they can do the roof, but when it comes to the mechanical stuff and refinishing the walls and fixing the walls, they're not going to be able to do this stuff for you. So that's why you call Perkins Roofing, is we are your one-stop shop for your roof and above. We're going to handle everything. We're basically your hat. If my head is the building, we handle the hat. We do everything up top. So we're going to have a one-stop shop, one hat for everything to finish everything out on the roof. Because you can see all this stuff on the roof. These big buildings, it's not just the roof. You have plumbing, you have electric, you have mechanical penetrations, you have access doors and exit signs that you have to put up. You have a lot of stuff that you have to do. Waterproofing. You see? More eyebrows, waterproofing the eyebrows. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, not simply the roof. Whenever you have a roofing project on a commercial building, so it's good to bring someone in who can handle the roof and all the tie-in associated stuff on the roof. You can see each of these details. There's no pitch pans. Nobody does pitch pans anymore. Pitch pans are out of style. We are doing liquid flashings with urethane. That's Polyflash 1C urethane on all of the details of the roof. So you will see no pitch pans and no chem curbs on this roof. Everything is flashed in with liquid, which is not going to leak and doesn't require maintenance. The old pitch pans are square boxes. I'll put a picture of one over my face that have bowl filled in it, and the bowl, because it's black, is going to shrink and crack out over time, and then roofers would make a ton of money on maintenance. Like, oh, your bowl is shrinking on your pitch pans, we got to re-maintenance these, and then they charge you a few $1,000 to re-maintenance all the pitch pans. Liquid flashing requires no pitch pans, so we're not doing pitch pans, we're not doing chem curbs. You're not going to have chemical sealant shrinking and cracking. You're not going to have roof cement shrinking and cracking. So the liquid flashings are much better, far superior, better way to finish out the roof. So that's what you get with a polyglass roof, and that's what you get with Perkins Roofing, is liquid penetrations. Something very important to note that I see on a ton of roofs is you'll have electrical and HVAC guys come up and they'll just put crap on the roof and they won't properly pad what they're putting down. So right here, you can see these stands for the electrical work. These are sacrificial pads for the stands. Polyglass in any manufacturer is going to require for their warranty to have sacrificial pads under stuff like this. This is something that nobody does. But when you hire someone that's a one-stop shop, we know what needs to be done, so we're going to do that as part of the project. And we're adding all these electrical lines into the project and adding stuff into the roof penetrations. We know that we're going to have to add sacrificial pads. So that is what we have done. Let's take a look now at phase 3. So this was phase 1. This is the first phase that we did. Then we hopped over to the other side of the cooling towers, phase 2. Let's look at phase 3 because that's newly finished. So you can see I'm now walking from phase 1 into phase 3. Look at the difference in the roof here. So this section is like a year old now, and this one is brand new. So you can see over time, the roof is gonna get dirty even though it's white. The other thing is that the energy rating on this, when we first install it, is 96% SRI on the Polyfresko, which TPO is 93. So the Polyfresko is actually better than TPO, but it loses approximately 3% of its reflectivity year over year. The same thing with TPO. So TPO after 1 year is going to go down to 90%, then 87, yada yada, year over year. This is going to start at 96 and go down to 93. So technically this one over here is like 93 and this is like 96. It's been like a whole year since we did this roof, just because of all the other crap we've had to do. So entering phase 3, now you can see the inside of the walls have all been painted and restored. And all of the concrete under the cooling towers is also completed. And we have all these new pipes and stuff under the cooling towers. So you can see our pressure cleaner here as we've been cleaning everything up, how we have our pretty roof under here. Which you can imagine how much fun it is to have to rip up a roof when you're crouched down like me. We have about 2 feet of clearance to get under this thing. So you can see how I'm crouched right now to get under here. You're doing this whole roof tear off on your hands and knees. So Look, I'll even put my phone down. You can see one of our roof drains here. That's a field roof drain. You can see we need to clean that up, the excess granules that have gotten everywhere. But I'm on my hands and knees to fit under here. So you're tearing this thing up like this. You're torching under here. So think how fun it is. Right now it's the summer. It's like 100 degrees outside and humid. And you're under here with a torch, with no room with an open flame, because this is a torch applied system. Not fun to do this roof. So that's why some of these roofs can cost more money, and it's not just all about square footage. It can be about square footage, but on commercial jobs, it's more of a logistics problem to figure out than it is a square footage problem. Unless you're doing like an open warehouse or something like that. Like these commercial roofs with all these penetrations, you've got cooling tower platforms, all this kind of crap, and you have to get into this little 2-foot area to get under. Yeah, it is not a fun job to do, but you can see that besides some cleanup here around the drains, the roof is complete in this area of phase 3, which took some time because it's also rainy season. So summer in Florida is not just really friggin' hot, but it's also rainy season, and that means that we're losing like 20 to 40% of our work days every week. So it's gonna rain and we're gonna lose 2 full days a week. Five work days, right? It's a condo, we're not allowed to work on the weekend, and you get 5 days a week, and 2 of them are gonna be gone from rain. The worst is sometimes you'll come, it rained last night, you come in the morning, you spend the whole morning pushing water into the drains and using a wet vac and getting all the water off the roof. And you're like, oh God, it's 10:30 now, 11 o'clock, I finally got the roof dry, now I can install the roof. And then it freaking rains on you, and then you just did all that work for nothing, and you just worked half a day getting the water off the roof, and then it rains again, you got water on the roof again, because you cannot put this product down onto a wet surface. Each of these rolls has to be completely dried and cleaned for the next layer to go on it. If you go onto a wet surface, it will bubble and it will fail. If you go onto dirt and grime, it will bubble and it will fail. So it's very important. Prep is like the most important part of this entire process. So that is phase 3, now completed. And we walk to phase 2 where we have our walkway here. So the walkway was created so that we could get our stuff from phase 2 through phase 2 to phase 3 without damaging the roof, because we had done this section about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago at this point, probably 4 or 5 months ago. So the phase 1 we did like a year ago, phase 2 we did like 4 or 5 months ago, and then phase 3 we just completed. So we have this trail here so we don't damage our new phase 2 when we were getting everything to phase 3 and bringing all the trash out of phase 3. And you saw in some of my other videos, if you go back and watch the first videos of this series, this was a gravel roof. There's a lot of crap to get off this roof. But you see the guys, now that the roof is done, what we're doing is we're taking down the hoist. We had our hydraulic hoist here. The guys took the hoist down yesterday, and we had built a special platform right here for the hoist to sit on top of, and a special landing platform right here, and one all the way down on the bottom. So we built these platforms on this project to facilitate the work. Now these platforms are coming down off the roof in phase 2, which means everything on this entire project is done except for the roof under where the platform was. So you probably remember from the earlier videos, the hoist right up there, and the hoist operating and bringing everything down through the wind tunnel here, as I like to call it. But since we had our platform up here and we had our hoist up here, this roof has yet to be completed. So you can see the way that the guys built this thing here. Here's our old gravel roof, and they created basically a truss structure with the wood here that the engineer had to approve for our weight loads that we were bringing up and down. So this is not just something where we're like, hey, let's just grab a bunch of wood at Home Depot and throw some crap up here and hope it works. No, this is all engineer approved. The engineer designed this entire thing because we had weight loads coming up and down a 30-story building. You can't just guess. You have to be precise. And as a contractor, a builder, you want the engineer to be liable for that kind of stuff. I don't want to take that liability. I'm going to let the engineer tell me how to build it, And then we'll build whatever the plan that they give us. We'll build it so that we will not have any issues and meet code. So you can see there's this entire structure here that the guys are taking out today so that we can get down to this gravel roof and rebuild this roof, because this is the last part of the whole job. Everything is done except for this little tiny roof over this stairwell tower where the hoist was sitting. So that's the last part of the entire project. You can see the rest of phase 2 and the city of Miami behind me. Well, my friends, you can see the bridge over to Brickell Key right here behind me. We're about to say night-night on this project for good. And funny reference, this building here, they're about to blow up. So if you are a fan of the Mandarin, this building is going to be destroyed in the near future. They're going to blow this bad boy up right here. And so this video will preserve the memory of the Mandarin. If you're a fan of the Mandarin Hotel, about to blow that bad boy up on Brickell Key. So, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you need roofing services, give us a call for Perkins Roofing, 305 MIA Roof for it, Miami-Dade, Broward, and the Keys. If you have roofs like this, we do this stuff all day, all the time. Commercial jobs, residential jobs, we do everything with roofing. If you need your roof done in Miami-Dade, Broward, the Keys, 305 MIA Roof. You can also see Perkins Construction. We do big projects, small projects, everything. We're doing right now a renovation on a single family home, bathroom, kitchen, closet, everything like that. Do bathrooms, kitchens, painting. I painted like 6 or 7 houses in the last couple of weeks here. We do paintings, we have impact windows. We're doing impact windows right now. And we do major concrete restoration projects like this, door replacement, HVAC, all the good stuff. So Perkins Construction, you can call for Miami, that 305 number. For Palm Beach, for St. Lucie, for Martin counties, we also work in those spots. 561-559 Roof. Check out the beautiful city of Miami behind me. These are the projects that we work on, these high-rise types. So give us a call. We also do residential. Just because we're doing fancy projects doesn't mean that that my prices are out of this world. Prices are standard. We will give you, depending on your size of scope of project, we will give you competitive pricing. So give us a call for any of your projects, construction related, for roofing related, for interior, exterior, painting, impact windows. We do it all. Also, lastly, not leastly, I'm trying to give you a good view so you can watch this beautiful, the city behind me. Check out the beautiful new roof completed as we're walking. And I'm going to end with Fisher Island in the background, because I'm going to say you have to watch that 10-part series. That's one of my better series of videos, is the Fisher Island 10-part series. If you want to see us do a multi-million-dollar tile roof on an island where we have to bring everything over on boats, that's a cool one. So check that video series out for the Fisher Island re-roof. 10-part series. Clay barrel tile roof, 2-piece barrel tile. People think a one tile is a barrel tile. That ain't no barrel tile. That's an S tile, friends. But you can give us a call, 561-559 Roof, 305 MIA Roof for Miami. Perkins Construction, reach out to any of those numbers. We can do any project, Perkins Construction, Perkins Roofing. And franchising, if you want to do jobs like this, if you want to get into construction, major construction, I have all the business systems for you. I have everything you need to make money from the beginning. 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first few years. Why take the risk and go out on your own when you can have me to help you? That is part of the franchise, is my mentorship. I'm going to help you make money. And it's not just one time. I'm not going to say, hey, here's your training, peace out, everybody. No, you will have recurring mentorship, because guess what? I am motivated for you to succeed, because I make a percentage of your profits as a franchisor. So I want you to kill it. So I am going to be with you every step of the way. If you want to do this but you don't know how, you don't need a construction background to do this. Don't go to college. Just franchise with me. I'll teach you everything. I had no construction background before I got into this. And now look at the company, everything that we're doing. I will help you get to what I am doing. You can easily make millions of dollars with me instead of sitting in an office for $50,000 a year. If you just come and invest in the franchise, invest your time in learning with me, and get it, kill it. I'll help you. So you see Fisher Island in the background, Miami, beautiful storm, Key Biscayne. This is the type of project that we're doing. So give us a call, join the Perkins roofing team, Perkins franchise today. If you have questions, you want roofing, give us a call, please. We are ready. It is almost hurricane season. Look at this wind, man. Look at this wind. It's August. It's almost hurricane season. My first videos are like from a year ago on this series. It's not our fault. Trust me. We wanted to get this job done forever ago. But with all the construction, all the engineering, and all the special assessments, just the pain. Peace out, everybody. See you next time.